United, which I think we will do as well. The pistol round is about to go live. We're in the freeze time countdown.
It's supreme confidence. It's exactly what OpTic was showing. And let's just see whether or not that continues here onto the second map in this matchup. This, of course, was eUnited's pick. So hopefully it's going to go a little bit better for them than it did in the first instance. But look at this aggression towards A early on. You can see they're sending numbers through the through the A main and through that door. And, well, things are going to come to a flash point in a moment.
Certainly is just the one smoke coming out here. A couple of flashes, but Mixwell is going to play counter flash, and this is not going to end well for the team. You shouldn't think. Rush able to get in there, only gets one. Shinobi doubling up there for the terrorist in the early stages, and that grenade is going to overshoot the Mark II. So Daps there not able to do what's required, and now it's a 2 versus 3 situation. They will need to find some headshots here. Tarek and Daps, and that's one here for Tarek, and that's a good start to that retake, but CJ is able to take down Tarek and then spot out the remaining member of OpTic. So great start here for eUnited. They'll get a lot of confidence if they can pull this one away, and they do. CJ to King finishing off Daps. It's a vibrant start for eUnited, but I can't help but feel as though shots were missed in that A-bomb side from some of the CTs, because Mixwell was in a great spot and ends up with one, and lucky for eUnited because they win the round.
Not only that too, they made the investment choice to actually go with a grenade on the pistol round, and with that, you need to make sure that you actually hit your target, and that grenade overshot the mark, and it would have done a lot of damage to that man sitting in the plant spot.
Very good point. And
unfortunately, they didn't quite hit that mark with that grenade, so that could have been a very different round if that panned out that way, but much better start from eUnited here. So there's a momentary technical pause, I believe, so, I mean, they're not talking things over that seriously just yet, OpTic, but I think it's Shinobi there that's just going to try and get his game right. Something not quite right after the pistol round there. But eUnited, they're already halfway there.
Yeah, strange. It's not usually the player who picks up a couple of frags in the pistol round that senses there's something wrong with the computer.
Yeah, I was going to say they're already halfway there to their last map round total.
They are. Wow, that's a scary thought. So eUnited getting on the board early, and look at the confidence from OpTic here. They've gone for the 2 scouts and 3 pistol armors. Bit of utility there, no kit. So the tactic here, I guess, is to send 1 scout to both sites, get a couple of body shots off on a few different targets, and then let the pistol armors come in and finish them and focus them down. So interesting stuff here from OpTic, but they obviously feel as though they can get the advantage here on eUnited, and I guess catch them a little bit by surprise. I haven't seen a double scout buy on Cache, ever. I was going to say in a very long time, but I can't remember the last time I've seen a team buy 2 scouts.
To me, what that says is confidence. OpTic are really confident in taking that to them, and I mean, eUnited should be expecting this. They've actually gone for the triple SMG buy, the Mac 10, 2 UMP, and the 2 rifles will probably be just hanging back and letting the SMGs go into those sites and do the work. They are going to opt to stick together, and they are going to head towards this A bomb site quite quickly.
Yeah, it will be the 2 scouts going A and mid. Will not be any pressure at B, although there are 2 pistol armored opponents there, but for the most part it'll be the A hit here, and Mixwell spots one out, gets a tag off, but it won't be enough here to stop the progression here. Marv gets a nice frag there onto Mixwell, and that's all she wrote in the A bomb site for OpTic Gaming. They gambled towards B, it didn't pay out, and eUnited will find themselves a second round.
Now, there's a heavy investment here from OpTic. I wouldn't be surprised to see them trying to save their weaponry as much as possible. So one of those scouts has gone down. Mixwell, unfortunately, did fall early on, but we will see now OpTic just try and stick together, see whether or not they can collect a gun or an upgrade from any of the terrorists. And A to Z is punished for his peek there into CT spawn. He has been tagged and will flee the scene. As with the rest of the team, in fact, there was a dink coming out, so CJ copying that one, but they should be able to get away quite cleanly here. OpTic both saving their weaponry. Only 2 frags, or sorry, 1 frag in that round, and that was Mixwell. So both teams playing a very, very safe game.
Yeah, I actually really like that from OpTic. 2 reasons they get another roll of the dice this round. Second reason, they didn't give up any of those valuable $600 kills. So 2 little wins there amongst the loss for OpTic Gaming. They'll be pretty pleased with how that went, but eUnited will be equally as pleased because they're starting to look like they know how to play Counter-Strike again. after that first map debacle. They're up 2-0 here and look to push on further right now as they move towards fast A main. We'll throw a couple of pop flashes and get A2Z coming out that door with the Mac 10, but OpTic Gaming have clued onto this somewhat, and they will be making their way towards A, slowly but surely, and try and take the fight to the terrorists. But here we go, all manner of explosive and flash grenades coming out here, as a couple of CT picks up kills there. Snapline, Daps, Tarek also picks one up, so this is real danger time here for eUnited.
They've just been stalled in trying to get into that bomb site. The CT resistance is real. In fact, the rotation was on point, and the opening frags made things a lot easier here, as we do see Vice try and get his way in. CJ's taken down. Vice is only able to find one reply, and that is a fantastic round from OpTic. Wouldn't have been possible either if they didn't opt to try and save their weaponry on that round. In fact, they might even be able to keep some of these scouts, but I think smartly they should upgrade them. I think Tarek is actually the only one retaining weaponry from the last round, so we will see a buy coming out from eUnited. So an AWP on Shinobi, as we did see on Mirage, and a fairly mobile setup coming out with 4 other AKs. And again, they're just going to split into a nice little default here and weigh down any CT aggression. Already they've taken territory in A main, and already they've sent some members towards that site to see whether or not they can catch anyone being just a little bit too aggressive.
Well, I mean, you can't do anything but go A here if you're eUnited. They've clearly committed numbers here, and they plan to definitely execute onto the A bomb line. All the markers are there. We've got 2 indoor. We've got the bomb dropped outside of A main. You've got someone keeping A main control, and just the lone member of the terrorist side watching the B push. The problem there for the Ts is that he's all the way back in T spawn, which is Vice. Now, Vice has lost control of essentially half of the map, apart from a T-spawn push. The good thing there is that United pick up the first kill, and that really prevents the B players from pushing and finding out that information. But this has been an A hit since day dot. At the very start of the round, they committed to it, and they're still going to push that way. No change of tactic just yet for United as we hit the 40-second mark.
And they are going to try and force their way out this door there. But Tarek does take down A to Z. We'll be looking for that second frag. Might be able to pick up Shinobi. Not able to do so. He does survive here at the fork switch. Eventually comes back around to pick up Shinobi here. And has taken up a great position here in the door. Picked up an AWP. Marv finds a reply, but it's Tarek again with that AWP. Finding his 4th of the round. Fantastic round from Tarek. The difference there. And OpTic have stopped this little run of rounds from eUnited. It only got to 2. And unfortunately for eUnited, their money has run out and they'll be put onto an eco.
If you win a pistol and you lost big on the first map, the only thing you make sure you do not do is lose an eco round. Because that doesn't just lose you the round, it plunges you back into the morbid depression of the previous map.
The abyss.
It literally, I guess, takes away all the good stuff that you've just put forward by bouncing back and winning the next round. Because if you lose a gun round, you lose a gun round. You can live with that. Or if you lose the pistol, hey, it's a coin flip. But when you lose an eco round, I know they're difficult and hard to keep on top of in CSGO because of the powerful pistols. But it's just so mentally draining, losing those rounds. And if nothing's going quite right for you, it can be a long day at the office. And it continues to be for United as Rush picks up the second kill of the round, and it will be Tarek here with the opportunity to pick up a 3 kill. He gets 2 out of the 3 and lets Daps finish off the last. So OpTic Gaming, nice little run of their own here, replying to eUnited's good start. They've got 3 in a row, and they look to continue to push forward.
Yeah, they've been able to wrestle away any momentum that eUnited have been able to try and garner. Unfortunately for eUnited, they're not able to get that AWP in Shinobi's hands. They haven't had the opportunity to get those plants, and that's something that eluded them on Mirage. That economy, that T side, it never really got going. So, unfortunately for them, it's seemingly starting out in a similar fashion for them. There's a chance to change that though. A better gun round would see them just try and change their fortunes a little bit. Different here. They're not so focused on A main. They're a little bit more spread across the map, but again, they haven't really taken too much territory here early on.
No, and they seem to be a bit obsessed with taking A main. I'm not sure exactly what they plan to do with it once they get it, as A2Z sprays Nafly down through the door there. Both players taking that opportunity to spray down at each other, and the Terrorist coming away with the better of his counterpart there. But yeah, not sure what they plan to do with that A main control, because both times I've seen them take it, once they've got there, they've just kind of stood around and waited to die instead of, I guess, executing onto the side, and that's going to look a little bit better there. Shinobi taking out Rush, but he's gone down very low as well. So once again here, the indecision from eUnited could be costing them greatly.
Definitely. They should be trying to consolidate. Whichever site they go to, they're going to have the number superiority. So it's probably best that they make that move soon. In fact, they're going to go towards this A-bomb site. A 2 versus 4 situation here in A-bomb site. Daps finds the first frag, and he's staying alive long enough here to be a threat, but unfortunately he does fall. It's only Mixwell here at the quad boxes. He's staying alive long enough here to keep the T's at bay. Hits now a 2 versus 1 situation as Vice finds that next frag there as well. And great work from eUnited here. Vice with the triple in that round, but you can still see that there is still some indecision in eUnited's gameplay. It is costing them players. It is costing them money in that sense, because there's a few instances where they're just hanging around in areas they shouldn't be. They should be acting decisively and hitting some of these sites, whereas they're just spending too much time seemingly thinking and mulling over these decisions.
Well, that's right. If Daps hits a few more bullets there with his M4, I think that they don't go up in that round, eUnited. So it's definitely on the cards here. Nafly just works his way around and takes down CJ.
And making sure of that shot.
Yeah, definitely. Wanted to make sure the trap was well and truly closed before he decided to pull the trigger. But OpTic Gaming, you can see the arrogance there. Despite the A presence so many times, Nafly comfortable just rolling out there. And Jim, you called this early. It's the full mid control here from Nick. Well, he's got one, he's got two. Good effort there from the mid player for OpTic. And now, familiar situation here for United. A2Z and Shinobi versus 4 members of OpTic Gaming.
They are going to try and take mid here. The problem is, though, not really going to go too much further than that short box, but A2Z just trying to see whether or not he can catch one of those cities out in that mid area, that contested point. But at the moment, he's very much left alone to his own devices, because Shinobi's just trying to shore up and make sure that no CTs are pushing through for information. But 30 seconds left on the clock. They've got to make their move soon. Shinobi does tag down one before he's disposed of. Naf actually pushing all the way through the A main, and now you can see that he's just a lonely figure here. He tries to make his way up short. He does find one A2Z, or should I say Rush, and that is it. eUnited again being plagued by indecision.
And it's going to cost them financially as well. Although they're not going to be unhappy with their position in this one, given how their last one went. But 4-3 isn't an ideal score for eUnited, given that they won pistol and couldn't even capitalize on the couple of ecos that followed. They'll be on pistols once again. No armor this time, though. 3 Deagles, a P250, and a Glock in hand for OpTic. Full kits everywhere. Actually, only 3 of them have kits, but full kit out, I should say, of equipment everywhere. 2 AWPs in play as well, so taking the ranged approach, OpTic Gaming, and they will, oddly enough, only have an M4 in mid, despite having 2 of the AWPs, but that position can be quirky.
It's a very quirky spot there from Mixwell, and he might be able to catch a few out, but they'll be called into action very, very shortly, because they are going to boost themselves up on to the little boost area there. You can see United just getting themselves ready to go here in mid. Mixwell here is just waiting to feast on some eco frags. He
is, but he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. Or he'll get 1 or 2. He gets 1 there, he gets 2, but CJ able to reply. Rush will get his teammate. They're just dancing around. Vice ends up getting that kill, but it's not as if it'll lead to anything. Mixwell and Rush doing a great job there of shutting down that mid push, but I mean, there wasn't a lot there shown by eUnited. Just a simple eco boost. Didn't work out, but they're going to struggle to buy once again, so Yeah, maybe should have been more of a force buy last round if they knew they had to double eco anyway. So a bit of inexperience maybe in the money management.
That or a full eco. They did invest in Desert Eagle.
Yeah,
and that
that's
would have
right.
afforded them a little bit more economy this round. But I say that CJ to King, 1D onto Rush, and it's a good feeling that hitting one of those shots.
There's no better feeling in Counter-Strike than hitting a Deagle 1 bullet, and the new sound makes it cool again, I think.
I don't know. I feel as though some of the satisfaction, the boom, has been removed from it. I don't know. I'm a bit indifferent.
Yeah, it's just that those Deagles were such a nightmare on some of the streams you watched with the big deep sound and the AWP as well. So the game's slowly transitioning towards, I guess, a lighter sound noise to assist with broadcasting and that sort of stuff, which is a developer decision, but we all understand why it's happened.
Yeah, not everyone owns a 60.7 surround sound system.
That's right. That's right. And I guess with the globalization of the game, the growth of the industry and the opportunities that we're getting here to broadcast CSGO everywhere, it's about time that those noises were optimized for such viewing, and I think that that's what they're trying to do with those new noises. They definitely sound like they're being optimized for viewing.
I think so, and I think they're also making them sound very distinct as well.
Yeah.
And it's just, I guess, a sound that not a lot of people are used to just yet. That will come in time. I mean, you haven't played 3,000 hours with those particular sounds, and eventually people will be used to them. And I think it is a welcome change, but I mean, there is that satisfaction factor with 1D'ing someone with the old sound.
Absolutely. The purist in me always wants nothing to change because you get used to something, and the optimist in me always wants new, exciting features to come out.
And we will see that AWP in the hands of Shinobi again. Once more, a high concentration on this A main area. They're just waiting it out, though. They're just waiting to see whether or not anyone from OpTic will peek into those boxes or peek through those boxes into A main. But at the moment, both teams are playing a very patient game. You can see OpTic just setting themselves up and waiting to see whether or not anyone from United will peek out. Vice versa, United are playing the same game on that T side, but a similar default to what we saw in their very first gun round.
It is, but this time the bomb's been left a little bit further back, but now it will make its way towards A, and kind of crazy here for eUnited that they keep trying to take on this A bomb site. They have had mild success, but it hasn't been anything regular for them, and they'll get sandwiched here. Rush picks up one, Rush picks up two, could be three, no, doesn't get it, and the trading there, great for United, but shots had to have been missed there from the counter-terrorists because, put simply, Rush was getting too much attention for someone else not to have an open look there.
And it's now back down to a 2 versus 2 retake situation here. A to Z and Vice have got a decent crossfire setup, but there's always a risky play playing from that quad box as we now see Vice should get the drop here on Dax. He does find him. Now it's back to 1 versus 2, and A to Z picking up that AWP as well. So good round from eUnited, and it's left the economy of OpTic a little bit under pressure, having to drop Daps. Fortunately, he's got the money to do so in that instance, and they will be able to buy out once again, but their economy is being whittled away here by eUnited, and they're a little bit more comfortable, as you can tell, on this map pick cache.
Yeah, definitely. And for United, that's a great sign. I was a little bit skeptical of that A hit, but they did it to perfection. Lovely timing. And for me, Jim, the longer the round goes on, I thought it would give the advantage to OpTic, but it seems as though the patience on eUnited is right there. I guess their ability to stick to their patience and work late in the round is quite good. So that they just need to avoid getting blown out early.
Well, I think the difference too between the maps is a map like Mirage, there's a limit to how much aggression you can have, particularly through the middle channels as a CT. OpTic have shown that they are actually quite an aggressive side, but it's not showing here on this cache map just because of the layout. So their CT aggression is being stemmed somewhat, but eUnited, they're just playing that very patient game, and it's working for them. So there's no need for them to change that just yet. They're having some success in the way that they're playing, and OpTic just team working their way through this one. Rush does find that frag, but they've given up mid-control. Mixwell does take down Marv. They make their way onto this A bomb site. The trades are coming out left, right, and centre. Great work from A to Z, picking up those 2 frags as they enter the bomb site. Now it's just Tarek to contend with the 1 versus 3, but I don't like his chances here, and I don't think he does either.
No, and once again, OpTic Gaming there just getting pulled apart in the A-bomb side. Nothing particularly flash from eUnited either. It doesn't appear as though there's any really cool Molotovs getting OpTic out of those hidey holes and then, forcing them out into the open. It's literally just good trade fragging from eUnited coming into the bomb site and making sure that shots are hit. On the CT side of things, I really don't feel as though OpTic will be that confident with their aim right now. Those players all hold themselves in very high regard in terms of their aims, so they'll want to get a bit more productivity out of that A hold, but a good half so far here by eUnited. 6-5 is the score. A lot of work here to do for OpTic Gaming, and whilst eUnited started slow on map 1, they've come to play here in map 2, which is really good to see.
It's a different tale completely. It's a different eUnited side we're seeing because they're looking a lot more comfortable on the map. They look like they actually have a plan, whereas in Mirage, they clearly didn't go into their T side with a plan at all. They were happy to let OpTic take a lot of aggression, take a lot of territory. There is a limit to how much territory you can take as a CT on the map location. That seems to suit eUnited's game style a little bit more, as you can see, with them getting 5 rounds now on their T side. So it's starting to get up there with a pass score, and we do see OpTic here on just an eco round, a few upgraded pistols here and there, but again, they're just being picked apart. That slow, methodical style from eUnited, and that real focus on A early on in the round is paying dividends for them.
It is, and they're getting great looks in and around this A-bomb site from the splits there. A to Z nails Mixwell there over the top of the little rafter on A. Rush and his teammate will fight the good fight indoor, and A to Z goes down to 12 HP, but he'll luckily escape with his life still intact. And now the members of eUnited are moving their way towards the B bomb site, where they'll only find Daps with the P2000 there.
Not too much resistance coming out from him either. Unfortunately, not a lot he could do. He was outnumbered, he was outgunned, and he was taken down. So just Tarek and Rush to contend with. Marv, though, getting a little bit too inquisitive there. Curiosity got the better of him, and he's taken down, surrendering his gun by the looks of things to Tarek. But Tarek only on 9 HP and picks up a second frag. So smartly, he throws his AK across, trying to get one across to his teammate Rush, but they will get away with 2 AKs here, and that is not a bad bounty, given their minimal investment into the round. Excellent
awareness there from Tarek, not just grabbing himself the gun, but realising he could save his teammate 1-2. Takes the risk and seems to be rewarded for it. They just need to stay alive towards the end of this round. Vice doesn't look like he's too keen to push up, although he'll start very, very soon, I'm sure. No, he's just content with chilling back there and holding on to his life as well. 6-6 is the score. eUnited, fantastic T side here already, with some room to make it an even better one. OpTic Gaming with a decent start, but room to improve as well on their CT side, and mainly on that A side defense, because they're getting picked apart by a very, very simple A side strategy.
Another gun round coming out here from OpTic Gaming, so there is a chance for them to try and get that back to a 9-6.5, which is a little bit more respectable, given that that slight CT bias exists on this map. But eUnited, they're on the cusp of something here, because the city economy obviously isn't fantastic. So if they can get this next round here, they will go a long way towards just really cutting down the amount of utility and weaponry that OpTic can actually afford for the rest of this half. So I'm keen to see what they do. Again, they've gone for this this heavy A presence. In fact, there's a little bit more of a focus on the door this round. We've seen Shinobi and A to Z team up here before. And they do get taken down this time, though, so the opening exchange doesn't quite go their way, but A to Z is looking to find that square frag. He does find Rush. He does square the ledger. But now, it's back to a 4 versus 4. You can see eUnited. Ooh, sharp frag there from Nafly, picking up a man advantage for OpTic. You can see, though, that they're now backing off a little bit. Mixwell actually aggressive again in mid-connector, and OpTic now are just starting to take those aim duels. They realise that they're a little bit sharper than their opponents, and it's starting to show in the frag count.
Yeah, won't end well for Vice here as he gets taken that great round from Nafly, picking up the tray. But the key for me, Jim, is the identifier here for OpTic Gaming. They need to identify that Vice is literally holding B from T-spawn. So if that's what if that's the way that eUnited want to set up, OpTic Gaming have to recognize this and punish them for it. Push B, get that extra map information, smoke out the terrorists, and then make them start guessing. Bit of a guessing game where they might be not just a foregone conclusion that they're not going B. Well, if they're not going B, where are they going? And then how can we stop them? As Mixwell gets one, but A2Z trades onto Daps. Mixwell gets two. So brilliant stuff there from Mixwell to open up this round. And now they will go towards B. This is the first time they've gone towards B. And Mixwell's well aware of the danger. Gets a 3-kill and gets saved by his teammate. So
that was an interesting round for me because it's the first time both teams have really shown an interest in mid, and it just so happens that they crash. So that one obviously went the way of OpTic Gaming, and it's now Vice in a 1 versus 3 situation. They know where he is, so his route out of that area is cut short by Rush, and we do see OpTic win that exchange. And as a result, eUnited, their economy isn't fantastic leading into the last round of this half. They're only going to be able to buy assorted pistols if they want that utility. And, well, it's not going to bode well for them because there's 2 Galils, 3 Deagles, and a sprinkling of utility.
Don't forget the Dream.
Well, Dreams are free.
Dreams are free, which is why they could afford 1 each. But Marv has not been answered. He has been taken down by Tarek at the very start of the round, and that's going to bode well for OpTic. They pick up the man advantage early on through that B pressure.
Well, they are playing in the land of the free, I guess. So.
Yeah. The home of the brave.
And you'd be a brave man to try and take this A bomb site with just the sprinkling of weaponry and utility that they do have. They do find that frag, though, eUnited onto Naf as he seemingly pushed into A there, unsupported. As now Rush is holding with Mixwell in this bomb site. They do find the frags. Shinobi, but Mixwell had an opportunity there to spray and be the hero, but unfortunately he couldn't control it. He is silenced by A to Z, and now it's a 2 versus 3 retake. HP on Vice and Shinobi could be a factor here.
Yeah, but once again, United just simply going into A and trade fragging their way to a bomb plant and a post plant position here. They did nothing special whatsoever to get into that A bomb site. They just wandered in, got themselves a few kills, and got the bomb down. Now that's going to be Daps getting a double. He actually thought he spotted the 3rd terrorist, but he's behind the door. Tarek comes in with his teammate to try and check that position, but A2Z doing a great job there. But it's not good enough. Daps picks up the triple on the retake, grabs the defuse, and OpTic will push for a 9-6 finish to that half.
It was looking fairly grim there for OpTic at one stage there when the scores were locked at about 5-all. But they managed to pull back in the last part of that half. eUnited with a much better start on their T side than they were afforded on Mirage. And exactly as you put it, there wasn't anything particularly special from eUnited in that instance. It was just solid team play, solid trade fragging into that bomb site, and it was the fact that they just overwhelmed their opponents in OpTic and made the trades where necessary. It boded well for them. It got them enough rounds there. It got them 6, but a lot of importance being placed on this pistol because there's a chance for eUnited to narrow the gap between the two teams here at the break, or vice versa, OpTic to extend that lead.
Absolutely. eUnited have given themselves a little bit of wiggle room in the terms of if you lose the pistol, it's not quite as bad as it was on Mirage, where the game was literally over. But they haven't given themselves a whole lot to work with. So whilst they do have a little bit, they're going to have to play pretty well here to close this out, because I have a feeling that OpTic are going to come at them with some fairly coordinated T-side hits. That was what the case was on Mirage, and that certainly looks to be the case here. But the shortcomings of OpTic, I'm not sure if they were just missing shots in A, and just by virtue of the camera work, we didn't catch anyone who wasn't getting the kills. But it was just so weird that the CTs were in position. They were all there. They were ready to go, and then they'd get the first kill and just lose out on the bomb site. I'm not sure how it happened so many times, but for United, you got to take that, you got to run with that. And you got to think to yourself, look, we've already got 6 on this T side. We just need 10 more rounds. to close this one out. And we've got the CT side of cage, so you definitely know you can get those 10 back-to-back. You definitely know that you know, it's not going to be because of the map or the economy at this point. You've got a fresh economy, and it's 10 rounds for all the marbles on CT side of cage.
Yeah, they should be looking at this half with a fresh set of eyes. As we said, they probably would be coming into this map after being blown out in the first. That emotional disconnect from such a heavy loss was quite clear. Their approach in the early rounds there was very clinical, albeit it was very A-heavy. They rarely showed any presence in the B main early on. If anything, it was OpTic Gaming's, I guess, non-action. They really didn't take any action at all towards that B side. That being said, though, I didn't really see OpTic push through that channel at all. They were very, very passive in their B play. So when you compare that to the willingness from OpTic to try and push that A main on instances there, Nafly pushing himself through, flashing himself into A main a few times there, even wandering in with an AWP. It was a contrasting style because their B style play was very passive OpTic compared to their A. If they'd have been as aggressive as they were at that B bomb site, they would have had a lot more information to play with.
That's right, and the similarities we've seen between the eUnited half on Mirage and this one here was similar. Now that you mentioned the lack of B attention, because that's what we noticed on Mirage. They didn't pressure B enough on balcony and force the CTs into tough choices, and I think that that was a common trend for them. Even though this one worked out better for them in terms of that A bomb site take, the theory was still the same now as OpTic move towards this B site. It's going to be A2Z, and CJ just picking up bulk kills in the B side, and it's already 4 members for eUnited on that B bomb site. But it will be Tarek doing a lot of damage. He's got a headshot onto A2Z. And, whilst eUnited are very heavily favoured here at this position, they need to be careful too. A couple of headshots and they'll be in some trouble.
But they will be, and Tarek is just continually trying to take these duels against his opponents. He knows he's got some damage off, but I don't think he's aware that there are that many CTs sitting inside the bomb site. There was a stack on B from eUnited, and there is no information from OpTic's side of things to suggest that at all. In fact, 2 of the members sitting in the B bomb site never actually peeked at all. So as far as Tarek may be aware, there's only 1 CT in that bomb site. So that's why he's willingly trying to take that duel. And now they haven't really backed off at all. They're going to continue to try and push the issue here with the B bomb site, but they're running into a stack.
They certainly are, and Tarek will get 1. He'll open up his account too. Oh no, he can't get a third, can he? Oh my goodness, Tarek! Stop it! That is a monumental meltdown there from eUnited. Vice luckily holds on, but now it's on Nafly to close this one out. Tarek goes full hero mode and gets a triple. And this is a cheeky plan here from Nafly. He's got an angle there to drop straight off the side. And Vice has creeped out onto the platform above the top part of B there. He's going to try and spot a line down into the bomb site, but nothing forthcoming here. He does find the kill eventually onto Nafly, who, I mean, sat on the bomb. Some strange decisions I've seen today in terms of gameplay, but you know, after that smoke starts to fade, maybe you try and find a new angle. You don't just sit there.
Persist with it.
I don't know, it just seemed odd. It just seemed odd.
Either way, eUnited put themselves the pissed around after stacking that B bomb site. I think they had some information as to the tendencies that OpTic were going to possess towards that B bomb site. There was clear intention from the get-go that is exactly where eUnited were going to stack. So it nearly worked out for OpTic, thanks to the heroics of Tarek, but unfortunately it wasn't to be, as that 1v1 couldn't quite be closed out. But now you can see OpTic have very much spread themselves towards this A bomb site. Tarek up the boost there, looking to see whether or not he can just clip the hair off a few CTs, but eUnited, very, very passive setup. They do have CJ in that vent, so he's going to play a pivotal role for them, particularly getting eyes on mid. But Shinobi might be caught out here. He is playing from short, but it is in fact Shinobi doing the damage there with that FAMAS, and now you can see the CTs just getting caught up in that meat grinder in mid. They are going to try and get themselves towards that A bomb site here, but A2Z is able to take down the bomb. CJ finds himself a frag in the vent, but there's a lonely figure there in Nafly who is taken down. clean round there from eUnited, exactly what they needed for their economy, but OpTic now are buying into this round because of that plant on the first.
Yes, absolutely brilliant stuff there from eUnited, shutting down the OpTic Gaming push. It's just an eco, so nothing to
No need to get excited.
No, nothing to write home about there. United just taking care of business, just getting their TCB on. But right now is where the real battle will start. OpTic Gaming with those 5 AKs, but just 2 flashes as well. So not a lot of resource, if any, here for OpTic Gaming to try and make it work. And as it stands, they've gone for a spread pick option, sending one of their AKs out into the wilderness, and hopefully one of them returns with some frags and an idea of how to continue on in the round. But at this stage, they're just looking at breaking up the AKs and seeing what they can do. Tarek gets onto Shinobi. I think it's a second one there, maybe even a third. No, but Vice is able to lock down that shot.
And that's spurred OpTic into action here. You can see they've taken mid. In fact, they've been able to split the CT defense in doing so, as both A to Z and CJ are stuck over at A. Thankfully, A to Z has actually rotated off the bomb site, but I think OpTic have something else in mind here. They're going to go towards this B bomb site, and that's exactly where Vice is. And the rotation is not going to come through from the A bomb site. He is going to have A to Z there to help him, but they are swarming in. A to Z is going to get one before he's taken down, and that leaves the man in the site, Vice. They know he's in there somewhere. They're going to try and flush him out. They know he's got to be in that smoke. He does eventually get taken down. It hasn't bought enough time for CJ to be close, though. So it's a 3 versus 1. It does not favour CJ at all. He is stuck in that vent, and I think Daps is about to make contact. Yes, he does. And well-worked gun round there from OpTic Gaming. They lost the frags there to Tarek early on, and that really opened things up. And it's tough for a CT side to defend a map like Cache once they've been spread that thinly.
Well, yeah, and OpTic Gaming here, relying on Tarek and Mixwell a lot, 17 apiece for them. But interestingly, 11, 11, 11 for the other 3 on OpTic, and the struggles continue for some of the eUnited players. I guess different ones each time, but the OpTic guys are very consistent today, and they look to be on point. They take a 2-round lead and force the eUnited guys onto the eco. Now, this could be where OpTic choose to up the tempo a little bit and really put their foot down on eUnited and stop this one from spiraling out of hand, because these are the kind of matches, Jim, that you see multiple opportunities to win them, and you know, rounds where you might be ahead, you suddenly lose, and you think to yourself, oh, it doesn't matter, we've got this game in the bag. But as it pushes on and on, that outcome becomes less and less likely. And eUnited suddenly find themselves in the game. Whereas if OpTic Gaming put their foot down here and say, look, enough's enough, we're going to play like we did on Cache now, it's time, they can put this one away fairly quickly and you know, go away with that 2-0 victory.
That's right, picking up 2 frags there. A little bit of confusion among the counter-terrorists. Tarek rounds things up, cleans it up at the B-bomb site. OpTic Gaming navigate their way through that anti-eco there with very minimal losses at all. So boding well for them. We will see that AWP on Shinobi's back, and hopefully he gets to utilise it here for eUnited, because they have a deficit to overcome, and perfect opportunity to do so. They're a little bit light in terms of weaponry. I'm not always a fan of the FAMAS, but look, I've been proven wrong before many times. So let's just see how that bodes, as we do see OpTic very heavy towards B, in fact.
Definitely are. OpTic Gaming snaking their way towards B, but there is 2 players in there waiting for them. Being ever ready there, ever vigilant in their defense of B, but it'll be Marv in the corner here, and he will find 1, no 2. How do you check that shot? It's a bit of a disappointment there for the terrorists, not able to check the goblin spot, but as it stands, eUnited with a 3 versus 2. This could even it back up. Now Fly needs to find one in quick time. Otherwise, his teammate will go down, and that is Daps going down. The AWP from the top part of the map.
That was such a great Molotov there, and such a great B-side defense from Vice. He smoked it up, and he Molotov the only other angle that the terrorists could have hit that site from. So
Yeah.
he bought himself a lot of time. He bought himself time for that rotation to come through. And whilst he was a solo site holder, 2 versus 1, his smart use of utility is what bought him that round win.
Yep. And OpTic Gaming will get that AWP in play once again. Shinobi battling off against Mixwell. 4 AKs either side, and this is going to be a pretty quick A push here, but it's just pressure early on here. Nafly just getting through that door quickly, and now his teammates will just drift off to different parts of the map once again, keeping that pressure on all points, making sure that nothing is left unattended, but it looks as though more emphasis is going to be put on mid this round from OpTic Gaming. They're sick and tired of being pushed in towards that B side and getting put in the meat grinder, so they've decided to take things into their own hands here and get a couple of players up mid. I think it's a fantastic idea, and it's being completely given up by eUnited. So if that's the case, as terrorists, you always need to take control and then see what you can do with it. Right now, they're just going to bide their time coming over.
Not only that, eUnited have absolutely no eyes on mid there. There is that man at quad box, but they've surrendered a lot of control. So there are 2 members of eUnited just hold up in that B bomb side, but look at this A main push coming through. CJ comes into contact here, and he does have his teammates to rely on there. They're going to take the fight, but A to Z is almost instantaneously fragged there by Nafly before he's taken out, and those Molotovs are just going to buy them a lot of time. There's not a lot of time left, though, for OpTic to try and hit one of these sites. It will be A. They're going to be left with very little time to make their entrance into this bomb site. They need to deal with CJ first, and this is fantastic work here from eUnited. They're going to be left with 9 seconds left to get into that bomb site. The smokes are fading, and it is getting increasingly difficult for them. I don't know if they're going to be able to get in there without that plant, as that grenade puts a halt to OpTic's plans in that round. Luckily, Mixwell is able to save out that AWP, so we will see eUnited buy themselves another round. More importantly, though, they've actually done enough here to stem OpTic Gaming's money and just nip it in the butt.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult here for OpTic Gaming to get on top of this round. They had a really nice start, and I thought that they were in position to win that one, but eUnited continue to impress. Every time I think they're out of it, they just win that one round and keep clawing their way back in, and that's to the point where I was making before. You can't let these teams hang around. If you're the better team, you need to show you're the better team and put these other guys away, because they're going to start to believe they can win.
They need to start applying the Rocky Balboa principle. How hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. They're being hit hard at the moment. They just need to keep moving forward. But eUnited are making a game of this. They're much more comfortable on Cache than we've seen them on Mirage. So it was 16-2 in that first instance there, and now we see them having to contend with a B rush here from OpTic. There is pressure coming through, and they are overwhelmed here in the B bomb site. They had no information as to where the terrorists were, and that is the pitfall of not taking any real control of areas in the map. So the passive style from eUnited hasn't quite paid dividends, but there is still a glimmer of hope in this retake here. But look at the weaponry that eUnited have surrendered to OpTic. Mixwell there eliminates the chance of the flank, and they've made that call at eUnited to just save what they can.
Certainly have. They're going to lick their wounds and return to the battle zone when the scales are a little bit more even. The round has started once more, but great use of just teamwork there from OpTic. They got really, really close to that B side. They put heaps of pressure on. They exploded together, gave the CTs multiple targets to shoot at. And when that happens and you don't hit the shots instantly, CSGO can be a pretty clunky game and a pretty difficult game if you're not on top of your game.
Exactly right. They had no information. They had no way of knowing that all 5 members of OpTic were descending on that B bomb site, and they paid the ultimate price. So a round that probably wouldn't have gone their way if they were just willing to play a little bit more on the information side of things. As we now see OpTic rush up that boost. He does take down 2 before he is put to bed. HC actually able to get the trade frag in an instance, but the damage has been done. It's now down to a 3 versus 4 situation, and they're going to consolidate here at this B bomb site. Only Vice and a CZ stands between them and that site.
Yeah, they're going to push in here. Tarek and his teammates scoping out the close smokes, and that's a great entry frag there. Good awareness from Tarek, turning sharp left, and Weiss goes down instantly. Now Shinobi and A2Z, who saved their guns previously, will try and do so one more time. But that one for me was all about Rush. He gets the mid boost, he gets 2 kills, and almost takes down a third in A2Z.
I wouldn't be surprised to see OpTic trying to push out here and try and take some of these guns away from Shinobi and A2Z. They know that these were the 2 players that saved last round, and if they can take the guns out of their hands, it's going to go a long way towards ruining that city economy, which could prove deadly here in the last couple of rounds of the half, as Shinobi takes a bit of a hit there. So Mixwell is very much on the case. They know where they are. The game is up. Hide-and-go-seek champions no longer, as they do lose 1 and 2. Both guns go down, and that is disastrous for eUnited. OpTic will be full of confidence knowing that they have ruined at least part of the CT economy. You can see that the money distribution among the CTs is not very healthy at all. They are, regardless, still going to buy into this. They're going to be light somewhere along the board, and it's probably going to be in that utility department. You can see no kits coming out in the CT, so retake is probably not going to be on the cards.
It's not technically a game point, but it may as well be here for eUnited. If OpTic Gaming win this one, the boys from eUnited are on a double save. So this is do or die, and that started well, I guess. 1 trade apiece.
And they've hedged their bets here. They've gone very aggressive on the door. They've gone aggressive on A main. And Marv just picked up 2 frags as well. So they've got map control, they've got A main control, and they've got that bomb in their clutches as well. So work to be done here for Tarek and Nafly. And Tarek just wasn't aware of how aggressive they were. Great change of pace here from eUnited. They've caught OpTic off guard. Nafly here has to go 1-on-4. He's got the first, but chances of getting the second and third are going to be slim. And Marv gets the trade there on A to Z, but this CT economy isn't healthy, and the money's going to be kept quite low by OpTic. So there is still a glimmer of hope for them just yet. That city economy is still quite fragile.
Doesn't seem like much, but that last kill was massive there. Absolutely massive. You can see instead of being able to have 3 guns and 2 drops, they now have 2 guns that they can drop instead of 3. It's really a burden on their economy, and Marv will be able to buy into that M4, so 4 rifles and an AWP still in play.
And not only that too, if OpTic actually win this next round, it's going to send eUnited into an economic spiral. So it's not going to bode well for them, just because of that economic damage that had been done by that trade frag coming out there at the end. So it's, well, I'd assume a tactical pause at this stage here, and I'm going to assume it's from OpTic Gaming's perspective, because they have a real opportunity to win out this map potentially if they take this round. Yeah,
it's a great timeout by OpTic. You don't often see teams taking timeouts when they're up on the scoreboard. It's often left till dire straits to take that timeout, but in this case they sense an opportunity to close this one out. And going back to what I alluded to before about really having to close out these games and and get the job done, it's a formula is winning. And once you figure out the formula and how to go about your business of winning these games, it's like clockwork. So OpTic Gaming is still going through the process of working out exactly what it means for them to win. But
I've just been informed, but it was actually an eUnited tactical approach, tactical pause.
Okay.
So they've rejigged their approach to things.
Off the back of a round win, that's very interesting.
Well, I think they recognise the fact their economy is so fragile here, so I think they've just taken the time to reiterate and place a lot of importance on making sure that they don't lose this one in convincing fashion. But there's an A execute quite quickly off the cuff from OpTic, and there's only one person watching over the site, and that's Shinobi with that AWP from Truck.
Yeah, great counter call here from OpTic. It was a B stack, 3 members of eUnited going towards B. That Molotov's going to be crucial in delaying the plan, but it's going to be Shinobi. That's a crucial shot on Tarek, who overextends there to the car, trying to get that kill. The grenades will come in. But this is do or die here right now for eUnited in this 5 versus 4 retake.
Oh, Dap so close to getting that second frag, but the Molotovs are coming in now. It's making it difficult for OpTic to hold this bomb site. The trades are going the way of the CTs here, as we do see Mixwell and Rush need to defend that bomb against 3 incoming CTs. CJ goes down. Rush finds him with that headshot, cutting him down quite quickly. A to Z finds a reply on the Mix, or should I say Rush, and Mixwell goes down. They do retake this site, but it is a 10-second defuse, so maybe panic stations here, at least momentarily. And that one will go down to the wire. They will secure the defuse, though. And eUnited keep themselves alive in this, but only 2 surviving members means that economy is still kept quite low.
Horrible post-plant there for OpTic. Absolutely disgusting. You know full well that if a team's played triple B and you've planted without any real fight, you've got to know they have Molotovs and grenades left over coming back on that retake.
And not only that, Tarek actually pushing out unsupported from his teammates, away from any trade potential as well, just simply surrendering his life to Shinobi there at the truck. Probably a bad decision in hindsight. And look, they surrendered a man for no gain.
Yeah, but exactly. For no gain is the important part for me. If Tarek runs out there and they use that extra time to get good post-plan positions because of his push, that's a good use of a death for Tarek. The fact that he pushes out grants them extra time to get into great spots, and they still manage to get Molotov donated out of really generic stuff was disappointing. And now that they've got this A side, it's going to be a very, very similar situation. But look at all the utility left on eUnited.
Well, they did the same thing again as they did last round here at eUnited. They've hedged their bets towards the B-bomb site and backed themselves to retake A. But this time, Nafly has something to say, finding himself a triple. And it is now a 2 versus 1. A lot of work to be done here for Marv as he gets himself around the bomb site. Opportunity to flank the CT or the Ts, but that open plant means he's indecisive as to where the CTs have left the Ts. But that is a round win there for OpTic, and you can see it's been enough to break that CT economy. It has been on the fritz for a few rounds here. eUnited, unfortunately, have a little bit of a mountain to climb.
Yeah, every single round that eUnited have won, they've lost at least 3 players, which means that the CT economy never got going, regardless of how many you win in a row. If you lose 3 members of CT, even if you win the round, you will get no economic advantage between rounds. You will build up no economy whatsoever and no safety net. And this is exactly where eUnited have landed themselves.
This time eUnited have actually opted to try and stack that A bomb site completely. You can see 5 members there, and there is the pop flash waiting here from Vice. So as soon as they get that information that perhaps OpTic are committing towards this A bomb site, a pop flash will appear from truck, and well, like a jack in the box, 5 or 4 CTs will try and get themselves some frags here. So if they're not careful, OpTic could find themselves in a little bit of trouble surrendering a few guns, but there is no committal from the bomb. There is no, intention just yet to go towards this A bomb site, but there is a heavy concentration towards A and mid from OpTic.
Yeah, it's going to be battle stations here for OpTic as they come in towards A. There are people everywhere in this A bomb site. 4 players jammed into this one. But just a couple of generic Molotovs and grenades will clear this out. Tarek there with the Molotov still hasn't been thrown just yet, although the trades are going well here for the terrorists. They don't have to worry about it. The gun power is enough on its own. But I mean, if you're going to wait that long to hit a bomb site, why don't you use Molotovs? Why aren't you clearing out those fence spots and the bomb site spots with Molotovs if you're not going to just flat out rush and beat them to the spots?
It's an interesting one. I mean, at this stage of the game, there's no benefit tactically to going into a bomb site when you know that you've probably got some sort of superior weaponry and utility to your opponents. So, unfortunately for them, fortunately for OpTic, they are able to make it work, and the superior weaponry that they did have in their possession got them through. But that could have been very hairy as we now see Rush get that frag over towards A. He is traded out from CT aggression, but now it is a 3 versus 1 here in the B bomb site. So a lot of work to be done here for Vice.
Certainly is. Nafly here with a good angle onto the CT that's currently in the bomb site. It's Vice, and he will take him down straight away. Lovely stuff here for OpTic as they look to close this one out. It will be a frag for Daps, and there's only 2 members left, Shinobi and A2Z now in a 2 versus 4. This one's starting to really develop some panic stations here for United, but that is all she wrote. OpTic win this one 2-0. The second match in much less convincing fashion than the first, so a lot of credit has to go to eUnited for the way that they're able to bounce back, reformulate their strategy, and come with a fresh outlook on the second map. I do think they were heavily outgunned. I don't think there was ever really any doubt there for OpTic. Even when they were behind, they weren't really, they didn't look like they were struggling. So OpTic get over eUnited easily 2-0 there.
Yeah, look, it was a much better showing from eUnited, but I think when push came to shove, they made a few more mistakes than their opponents, and that's essentially what cost them that map on Cache. So OpTic take the 2-0 over their opponents in eUnited. When we looked at that matchup, we thought that would definitely be the scoreline after the first map. I didn't think that this one would go that way on Cache either. They looked completely outgunned, eUnited, but they were able to stabilise themselves and distance themselves from that first shellacking on the first map. So, look, we will be taking a short break between the matches here. That is the first match of the day. The second match will be between Cloud9 and Complexity. Blockbuster there. So some staples of the North American scene going head-to-head in the ESL Pro League, Season 4. Matchday 6 of the North American season. So stick with us, guys. I've been Jim Nesso. Joining me has been PDG. We'll be back after a short break.